How's it going? I haven't filmed a lot today. I've been at the garage working quite a bit. Ethan's little Honda Civic broke. I think he spun a rod bearing. So we went and got it. Then we come back here. They helped me set the G35 on the lift. While I had some help, I took advantage of it. Well, I was thinking the clutch had went out of this thing. It didn't feel right, but I knew I was having clutch problems, and after seeing the clutch when I changed it, it had some real bad spots on it. It was burnt pretty bad. But it didn't feel like a clutch issue because it didn't, at no time did it ever slip, like run through the clutch without actually getting track, to grab. Well, what I ended up finding is the new slave cylinder I put on ruptured. So like the piece that goes in and out that pushes the clutch arm, it just busted, it completely busted out. So maybe a local parts store slave cylinder wasn't enough. I don't know. They're gonna bring me a new one in the morning. It's got a lifetime warranty. If not, I'm gonna put the factory one back on it for this weekend and order like a performance one, hopefully. Hopefully one of them two will stay together, maybe. The BMW, I went ahead and changed the oil. I put the Castrol 530, the black label, and I left the compressor on evidently. So I put the Castrol black label 530. That's supposed to be one of the go-to oils on the BMWs. And let's see, I got the 11-pound spring. I changed the 11-pound spring and the wastegate, not the wastegate, the blow-off valve. I haven't driven it or anything, so I don't know any difference. It seemed like it might blow off a little quicker, maybe even a little more pressure. I don't know. But I do have a brand new clutch for the G35, and I debated on changing it out. But it's one of those things where I want to ride this clutch out all I can until I just don't have any clutch left. So I think I'm going to just wait. Plus I'm kind of a little short on time this week to get it out the door. So I'm gonna get that slave cylinder, put it in, try to bleed it out. If it doesn't bleed out or we got a bad problem, I may be forced to change it, but it's Monday, so I got all week. Even if I have to take a little time off. My brother's been helping me a lot, so I've got a little free time, which is not a lot, but this change out's not very involved. It's pretty quick actually. For a transmission clutch job, these are pretty fast. So I couldn't find my sawzall, so reciprocating saw, whatever you want to call it. But these extra pieces here that these exhausts have, I was debating on cutting these off and see if I can make this exhaust louder. I did put the test pipes on and it's still not very loud. So I may cut those off and cap them and see if that does anything, because the 350Z I sold to Ronnie, his has that same exhaust and it's not really loud. Not as loud as some we've seen at the track, and it's just not very loud, and I want it loud. No reason behind it, just other than I want it. But I did end up having to put a little water, a little coolant, not water, but I put a little coolant in the BMW. It seemed like it had, I don't know if it just maybe was a little low from the last time when I topped it off. I didn't get it completely full. And if not, I think that top hose going into the reservoir has a leak, which it's a simple fix on that, I think. I think it's an easy one to change, and plus it's right on top. I may end up having to do something there. And my son, we put new tires on the IS300, and we took the G35 drift spares back off, so he's got new tires on the back. So he's out beating those up. Let's see, what else have we done today? Sometime this week we're gonna try to finish his e-brake. We've got to get that thing squared away. He's got everything. It's just, like I say, between him working and me dealing with the rental, we're just getting a little behind. as far as wanting to fool the cars, I need to clean the garage again. There is 900 Dr. Pepper cans here, at least. So I did start getting rid of some oil today. I talked to the local landfill, and they told me they got barrels down there, and they gave me one. They said, you can fill that up with oil, then you can bring it back and just set it out. So I've got some oil barrels to transfer into there. I need to figure out a transfer pump. I've got a couple of rentals before I start on the next one. I think I'm gonna, because it's gonna be some stuff we're gonna have to kind of back up and work on. A little bit of a bigger project than what I was thinking. Like I needed that. But anyway, we're gonna back up and go to a couple of rentals that's got some repairs. We're gonna get those first before we start on this one. And that way I can kind of judge, you know, money-wise, how much I have left to spend on these rentals. Because I mean, it's the point where do I spend $10,000 or do I eat a $500 a month payment for a little bit and try to, you know, maybe take a little bit of a break, put some money back in the bank, where I just spent some absolute fortune on that rental. So I've got to move some of these cars around, get some of them out of my way. I've got just cars that are sitting here rusting down that I you know, like the Subaru, I could finish it in a day or two, you know, once I set the timing, make a decision on the oil pump if I'm going to replace it. I've not had time to even think about it. Get that Subaru together. I've got a white Tahoe 4-wheel drive. It's one of the big long ones. It needs just a distributor dialed in and maybe, I think, exhaust. I think a driver's seat, maybe some interior parts. Other than that, I think it's pretty good shape. Back in a year or so ago, we redid the heads on it. We took the heads off and the timing chain, redid all that stuff. Adjusted the valves, did all that stuff. And evidently the distributor, you have to kind of dial those things in with a laptop or a computer or something, and I didn't know. I've never done one of those. So I was told that's what we need to do on those, so I'm going to try that. My gold Tahoe, my 2-door, same thing. I got to fix that. But again, that's mine, so I'm not really worried about that. What else do we got? We got still some cars to scrap and get rid of. I've got a GMC truck. I got a Chevy Silverado 02 model. It's just, I was going to do stuff, and it's just, you know, it's not in the cards to fool with those right now. Just part them out and get them going. So we'll get rid of that stuff. I got the Pontiac G6. It has a newer motor, new timing chain, and all that stuff in it, but there's a wiring issue. And like I say, the HP tuning, if I can get with HP tuning and see if I can kill that, whatever it is that goes into limp mode, it shuts the power, cuts it down. If I can turn that off like you can on Honda and some of that stuff, it will allow that car to stay in fully functioning without having the power being pulled down where it's got the check engine light. Some cars, even like your turbo cars, you can, you know, when you're running a turbo car, if you get a check engine light, you make it not make boost on some of the programs. And with the HP tuning, if I can turn that off where it doesn't pull the power back down, then that car, you know, straighten up the wiring, clean it up, dress it up. Probably wouldn't hurt to do an oil change, go over the brakes and drive it a little bit and see what it needs. And that car should be a, you know, pretty good flip car. Not big money, but something, you know, with everything that's been done to the motor, should be a fairly dependable car at the least. And the GMC Canyon, it's still just sitting here staring at me. I have no desire to work on it anymore. I just need to get it up the road. I need, my hair's like receding hairline. I'm getting old. That's what happens when you get old. But maybe we can get back on some cars. It's getting hot now. It's getting nice outside. My poor old bones don't hurt as bad, and so I can, you know, start working on some of this stuff, get some stuff done. And we're only just a day or two away from getting that rental down in that we've been working on. We're just very close to, you know, being done with that. And I'm ready to go drifting, and so I need a break. I need to get out and hit the drift track and get that going. So I may, if everything goes pretty smooth with that rental, and I can send the guys to, start on that other one. One of my helpers has been kind of working again a little bit. So if I can get those guys up to those rentals and kind of back up and work on those things, I may put the rollback back in service through the week a little bit and try to, maybe make some moves there, move a few buildings, haul a few cars, bring some cash flow back in, just kind of rejuvenate here where I've spent a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money on this rental. It's so bad. But it's one of those where you just get in it and make it work, man. Whether you got the money or not, you're this invested. You can't lay down on it. You have to give it 100% and just make it work. You don't have a choice. And if it makes you a little short on the back end, you just got to work a little harder just to kind of catch up. But at the same time, I'm smart enough to know, with what's coming up, with what we've got to do on this next one, to kind of back off just a little bit and address some of the smaller issues, take a little time, maybe another month or so, rebuild a little, kind of reassess what's got to happen to that one. And I've got one right after that one that's just, a couple blocks that way, that's going to be a pretty quick turnaround. I think it's just going to need maybe a coat of paint and like one floor, and I've probably got the paint, and the flooring will go super quick. It's not very much. And we'll just knock that thing out probably in a day or two and get it re-rented. And I may go up on the price another $50 or something to kind of compensate that. I was informed that I'm like super low on my rentals, and so I'm going up every time one empties and I get a new renter. I'm going up, even if it's $50, $100, which that's the most I went up, is $100. If it comes empty and we go back and get it re-rented, the demand's so high right now that I'm way off on rental prices. Like I got one I priced, the one that we just repaired, I priced it at $600 a month. The air conditioner's ice cold. We've got all that done, and I priced one a few towns over, and it's actually more in town. I don't know what the factor is there, but the yard's no bigger. In fact, it may be smaller. The house is no nicer. There's no more square footage in the home or anything, and I think it's $800 a month, and it's still extremely similar to the one I've got. And I've got a big 3-bedroom with a humongous yard. I think it's only one bath though, but it's a big house inside, one level. It's got a garage with it. It's kind of a older garage. It's nothing great, but it's a garage. You could put a car in it. The renter, before I got that one, they actually had like a studio apartment. There's no bathroom, but they made it like a man cave kind of thing with couches and fold out bed and all that stuff, kind of thing. But I only rent it for $800. I was told that thing needs to go for a lot more than that. So I'm kind of reassessing that, but I still want to be fair. You know what I mean? People got to live somewhere. Not everybody can afford $1,200 a month. So, I try to be a decent guy. If it's not, breaking me, which it has its tendency to try. But if I can be fair and people will actually take care of the rentals, there's no reason for me to charge an outrageous price. I don't see the need in it as long as, they do the right thing, but that's not going to happen. So I'm having to go up some. I have to. It just doesn't make sense because, you got to look at it like this. $50, let's say $100. $100 isn't horrible to go up and rent when, the house has got a whole bunch of new amenities, and the air conditioner has been refurbished, all new everything in the house. Makes the, added to the value a little bit maybe, at least for the comfort value when you move in something with all new furniture or new paint and new floors and new light fixtures and a bunch of stuff like that. But in the end game, that's a $1,200 a year increase in my income. So you know what I mean? I do that in 3 of them, that's $3,600 a year. It's not a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in the back end, it's $3,600 more dollars, plus the finance cars. And I got a couple of rentals in about a year. They'll actually start being paid for. So that's what we're working on. We're gonna try to get on some of these. We're still kind of back and forth with the rental. And like I say, we got a couple we're gonna bounce to and try to get some repairs done. And in the meantime, I think I'm gonna try to get that slave in, and see if that's good. We'll probably jump on the IS300 and try to get the handbrake squared away and try to get ready to drift this weekend. So stay tuned. Here we go.